divulging relationship mental realities about sex and human way of behaving. The brain science of sex and connections is a diverse field that digs into the unpredictable interchange between close-to-home, physical, and mental components driving human sexual way of behaving. Understanding these mental viewpoints isn't only scholar, however, is vital for encouraging solid and satisfying connections. Connections, at their center, include a perplexing dance of close-to-home closeness, actual fascination, and mental similarity, each impacting the other in significant ways. Generally, the brain science of sex and connections offers significant bits of knowledge into the hoard factors that add to human association. By investigating these components, people can acquire a more profound comprehension of themselves and their accomplices, at last encouraging more significant and satisfying connections. The job of connection styles and sexual connections. Connection styles, first distinguished in youth, assume a critical part in molding grown-up sexual connections. These connection styles secure, restless, avoidant, and disarranged influence how people experience closeness and sexual way of behaving. Understanding these styles offers basic bits of knowledge into the elements of sexual connections and can help in encouraging better associations. In understanding these elements, people and couples can pursue better connection designs, cultivating really fulfilling and sincerely satisfying sexual connections. Perceiving and tending to the basic connection issues can make ready for further developed correspondence, closeness, and generally speaking relationship fulfillment. The effect of correspondence on sexual fulfillment. Transparent correspondence assumes an urgent part in upgrading sexual fulfillment inside connections. At the point when accomplices straightforwardly examine their sexual requirements, wants, and limits, it develops a more profound comprehension and closeness, prompting a seriously satisfying sexual association. Powerful correspondence mitigates errors and clashes, cultivating an amicable relationship climate where the two accomplices feel esteemed and heard. To further develop correspondence in sexual connections, think about the accompanying methodologies. 1. Make a place of refuge, lay out a climate where the two accomplices feel open to examining their sexual necessities unafraid of judgment or analysis. A steady climate empowers receptiveness and trustworthiness. 2. Undivided attention. Practice undivided attention by concentrating on your accomplice's words, recognizing their sentiments, and answering mindfully. This approach shows regard and sympathy. 3. Use .I. Articulations convey your requirements and wants utilizing .I. Explanations to communicate individual sentiments without accusing or reprimanding your accomplice. For instance, I feel adored when we attempt new things together. 4. Standard registrations. Timetable normal discussions about your sexual relationship to guarantee that the two accomplices' necessities are being met and to quickly address any worries. This continuous discourse keeps a solid and fulfilling sexual association. 5. Look for proficient assistance in the event that correspondence challenges continue. Think about looking for direction from a sex specialist or guide. Proficient help can give important experiences and apparatuses to further develop correspondence and sexual fulfillment. Mental impacts of sexual closeness. Sexual closeness assumes a critical part in the mental prosperity of people, achieving different the two advantages and possible disadvantages. One of the essential mental advantages of sexual closeness is the arrival of chemicals like oxytocin and endorphins. Oxytocin, frequently alluded to as the affection chemical, is known to encourage holding and trust between accomplices. This chemical is delivered in significant sums during sexual action, which fortifies close-to-home associations and fabricates a feeling that everything is good in connections. Nonetheless, it's essential to recognize that sexual closeness can likewise have possible drawbacks. Issues like befuddled sexual longings, execution tension, or unsettled relationship clashes can prompt pressure and disappointment. These difficulties can unfavorably influence psychological well-being and personal bonds on the off chance that not tended to successfully. Open correspondence and shared understanding between accomplices are pivotal in exploring these intricacies to guarantee that sexual closeness stays a wellspring of positive mental advantages. Social and cultural impacts on sexual way of behaving. Social standards and cultural assumptions assume a critical part in deeply shaping sexual way of behaving and perspectives towards sex. Across the globe, different societies force particular systems that characterize adequate and unsatisfactory sexual practices. These social standards frequently manifest as sexual restrictions, which are denials or limitations against specific ways of behaving or conversations connected with sex. For example, in numerous moderate social orders, open conversations about sex are viewed as unseemly, prompting a culture of quiet and mystery around sexual issues. According to a worldwide point of view, it is clear that various societies approach sex and connections in fluctuated ways. In additional liberal social orders, there will in general be more noteworthy transparency and acknowledgement of assorted sexual directions and practices. On the other hand, in additional moderate societies, severe adherence to customary qualities frequently brings about restricted sexual opportunity and articulation. Understanding these social and cultural impacts is significant for cultivating a more comprehensive and informed point of view on human sexual way of behaving. The brain research behind sexual dreams and wants. Sexual dreams and wants are principal parts of human way of behaving, well established in our brain science. They act as a psychological jungle gym where people can investigate their most profound wishes and interests without the imperatives of the real world. Understanding the brain research behind these dreams offers knowledge into both individual and social elements, revealing insight into how they can upgrade sexual encounters and closeness. Nonetheless, tending to a few normal misinterpretations about sexual fantasies is significant. For example, having a dream doesn't be guaranteed to mean one needs to follow up on it, all things considered. Dreams are many times emblematic and not an immediate impression of one's expectations or moral compass. Misconception this can prompt pointless culpability or tension. In synopsis, sexual dreams and wants are a characteristic and vital piece of human brain research. They offer a remarkable focal point through which we can comprehend our deepest desires and upgrade our sexual prosperity. By perceiving and embracing these dreams, people can accomplish more noteworthy closeness and satisfaction in their connections. Difficulties and arrangements in keeping up with sexual craving in long-haul connections. Keeping up with sexual craving in long-haul connections frequently presents a horde of difficulties that can originate from different parts of life. One essential component is normal. As couples subside into the commonality of day-to-day existence, the underlying fervor and oddity of the relationship might fade, prompting a decrease in sexual interest. This peculiarity is normal and can be ascribed to the cerebrum's regular transformation to boosts over the long haul. Stress is another critical element that influences sexual craving. Current life brings a huge number of stressors, including work pressures, monetary worries, and familial obligations. These stressors can prompt physical and profound depletion, decreasing one's moxie. Moreover, life changes like the appearance of youngsters, maturing, and medical problems can additionally confuse the elements of sexual craving in a relationship. In conclusion, keeping up with actual well-being assumes a part in supporting sexual longing. Normal activity, a decent eating routine, and sufficient rest can work on, generally speaking, prosperity and increment moxie. Couples ought to likewise look for proficient assistance if vital, like treatment or guiding, to resolve further issues influencing their sexual relationship, and incorporating mental bits of knowledge for better connections. In understanding the multifaceted elements of sex and human way of behaving, it becomes clear that mental experiences assume a vital part in supporting better connections. By perceiving the significant effect of closeness on profound prosperity, couples can develop additional satisfying associations. Integrating mental standards into everyday connections supports tending to normal relationship difficulties like correspondence breakdowns, close-to-home misalignments, and neglected needs. By coordinating these mental bits of knowledge into regular practices, people and couples can make ready for more grounded, stronger connections. The excursion toward a better organization is constant, set apart by shared development and understanding, making it a remunerating try for those focused on cultivating affection and association.